Welcome everybody to the Greg and Martin 10-minute chat hour.
I'm Greg.
I am currently coasting on a wave of internet immortality as the fastest rising YouTube superstar in the history of the planet Earth.
People are talking.
Martin
Let's
Lestraps.
face it. People are talking. Martin Lestraps. Welcome to my show.
Episode 6. Did I mention that?
Welcome to episode 6 of my show.
Our.
So if there's one thing that I can... we've set a template for ourselves. We have a timer. It says 10 minutes. When this timer is up, it beeps. No matter what we're talking about, we stop.
Yep.
Now, 6 episodes in, you would think that we would have it down. We'd know, okay, you know what, we're running out of time. We should probably start wrapping this up. But that's not the case. The last couple of episodes, we were deep into some stories.
Yeah.
We didn't get to finish.
We didn't talk to each other for a week.
No, we did. We got really upset. We didn't speak for a week. We showed up today to do the show. This is the first time we've spoken.
How you doing, by the way?
I'm doing great. What
I
have you been up
couldn't
to?
care less.
Okay. Anyway, let's address the elephant in the room.
You're wearing another hat?
No, this time it's not about our hats.
Okay.
Behind us, this is my bookshelf. We have my books that I love. I love to read. You love to read.
I do love to read.
And that's always been the case, right? You've always loved to read. For as long as I can remember.
I have, every day of my life, I have always loved to read. Hashtag opposite day.
Oh yeah, no.
I have not always loved to read, although, you know, I'm always a little bit hesitant to say that because I'm an author. I write books and I want people to read my books.
No, you should own it. Own it. Because it's who you are. It's part of your journey.
You know what it absolutely is.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. Like, when I was a kid, our mother used to read to... Well, I was younger than you. You were a teenager off doing, drugs and rock and roll. But I was a kid. She would tuck me into bed. She would sometimes sit at the foot of the bed, read books to me. Sometimes it was maybe like a young kid novel, but there'd be pictures. She'd show me the pictures.
Sure.
And I loved seeing the pictures. And sometimes she would read, and she wouldn't show me a picture, and I would say, "Show me the page." And she would tell me, "There's no picture on this page," but I would insist.
So you didn't trust her.
I did.
Because that's the kind of mother we have. You can't trust
very, very untrustworthy.
Can't trust her.
That's the truth.
Not for a second.
Unfortunately.
No.
And she would show me the page. It would just be words. She thought I'd be disappointed, but I was always satisfied. I wanted to see what was on the page because there was a story coming from whatever she was doing. So at a young age, I enjoyed stories. I enjoyed books. I certainly enjoyed being read to.
Yeah.
I loved comic books, which is primarily something you introduced me to.
Yeah.
But then just in terms of my imagination, with a comic book, there's pictures and there's colors. The stories kind of spread out for you. But it was I was 18 years old before I truly was able to read a book and engage with the story and really fall in love with it. But then from that point forward, I really have genuinely for the last 20 years loved reading, loved books. I read books often. I kind of feel like I'm trying to play catch up for the times that I didn't read.
Right.
And of course, but there's always that awkward feeling of now that I'm a novelist, I always feel like people probably assume that my life has been my life has been devoted to books for forever.
It's just not been all about
unfortunately,
books, but no, that's not the case.
And you as a father absolutely keep books away from your children.
No, that's not true. I actually, I love to read. I don't always have time to read as much as I would like to read, especially that's just being a dad. But my kid, my older daughter Scarlett, asked me just yesterday. She goes, "What's the last book you read?" And I was like, I don't know. I think the last time I read a book was when we were on a plane to Minnesota. And she was like, "In the summer?" I was like, "Oh my God, yeah, I guess it's been since the summer." Because, I made the 2 foreheads videos. That was like wall-to-wall work, like every single day. And I just didn't have, in between that, driving the kids to school. But I think what you were kind of getting at was with my kids, I started reading to them when they were infants, and people thought I was crazy. Certain grandparents. I'm not naming any names.
Primarily because you were reading them my novels, which even I thought
that was kind of inappropriate. But whatever. But people are they don't even talk. They don't know what you're saying. They're not appreciating this. But here's the thing. For me, one of the things that I love about books, and one of the things that I love about bookstores, I could stay all day in a bookstore. I could get lost in a bookstore. It's that smell. Hashtag booksmell.
Ooh, nailed it.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I just came up with that right on the spot. Anyway. But that smell and also you're reading to your kids, and and if you, I like performing,
Yeah.
when I'm reading to my kids, I like performing all the time anyway. Just ask the ladies. And but when I'm reading to my kids, it's like for just the dynamics of what I'm reading to them, and then they see the pictures, because I would be reading them picture books, so they know that what I'm saying has to do with what's on this page, and the whole process of physically turning pages. Because I'll tell you something, I got my kids a Kindle because I thought, well, it's the future, and the kids today, they love the electronics. Certainly my kids will love to read their books on a tablet, but my kids, no, they like old-fashioned books. They
I
like
love it.
holding books in their hand. And
As an author myself, when I published my first novel, Inside the Outside, I'd never held a Kindle in my hand. I don't even know if I'd seen one in person.
Yeah.
But I knew that part of being in the publishing game is I had to, I needed both print and digital books.
Yeah.
And so I think it was, it might have been several weeks, possibly months, before I actually saw the digital copy of my very own book on a Kindle, and eventually,
because it takes
an
forever for digital. That's the one thing about digital media.
No,
Takes forever.
it's super fast. It never occurred to me to buy one because your bookshelf, I will always love a paper book. I love the paper.
And
I love the smell and the ink.
nothing against Kindle. And a lot of people love them. And if you're going to go to the beach, I mean, I get that. It's handy if you're on a plane and I'll read this book, or I'll read this book. I totally get it. It's like when you carry a book, when you put a book in your
pocket.
No, in your, what do you call it? Your carry-on.
Shoelaces.
Your carry-on. And you're on a plane, you put it in your carry-on. It's like you're not going to take a variety of books and pick the one that you're in the mood for. You have to commit. I'm going to read this book. This is the book I'm taking. Boom, it's there. And then you're stuck reading. And if you're on the plane, you're like, I'm not really in the mood for that.
Off, you're not feeling it.
Yeah, you're stuck. That's what you're reading. But whatever. There are worse things.
Tough luck.
Yeah. Anyway, but no, books are great. What I was talking about bookstores. I used to work at Barnes and Noble back in the day, and I was actually held at gunpoint.
I was going to say, you probably have a really wonderful memory.
No, I was. It was. I did love. It was working at Barnes and Noble was awesome, especially if you're an avid book reader. I don't know how it is now working there, but this is like ages ago.
Yeah.
And
now being robbed at gunpoint is totally lame at Barnes and Noble.
No. Now people don't like it. But
it's all digital. Robberies.
Back then I'm working, and you can, it's like your lunch break. You just grab a book off the shelf, and you can go back in the break room, and I'm just kicking back, eating my lunch, reading a book, and then after lunch I put it back. I don't know if they still let you do that, but back then they let you do it. And it was awesome. I burned through so many books working at Barnes and Noble. It was amazing. I didn't make any friends because I was always in the break room.
But you did get robbed.
I did get robbed. Oh, it was a little scary, but it was funny because my manager, the manager of the store, she had just come back from some managers summit or something, and they told her, whatever you do, if you get held up, don't give them the checks, right? And I'll tell you why I know that. Because a guy held us up. The store was closed. It was just us two closing. He walks in, points a gun at me, and then I was, like, whoa! We don't really. I mean, I can give you what I have here. And he's like, "Where's the safe?" And then I kind of called my manager over, and then she sees the gun, and she freaked out. She totally lost it. And she was just terrified and stammering. And she's like, the safe, I can't take you to the safe. I'm like, take him to the safe. He wants to go to the safe. She's like, but we're not supposed to. And we go to, finally, I'm like, just take him to the safe. Let's just do this, get it over with. And he's like, yeah, I want to get out of here. I don't want to do this, but I kind of have to. So he takes us to the safe. She takes us to the safe. She opens the safe. It's like $700 in cash, probably not even worth anybody's time. But, and he says, that's all there is in there? And she goes, well, just the checks. And he's like, well, give me the checks. And she's like, no, I can't give you the checks. I just went to a manager's meeting, and they said, don't give you the... I'm like, just give him the checks. He's like, forget it. I don't want the checks. I'll just take the cash. Have a nice night. We let him out. And then, waited like a few seconds. Don't call the police. And we're like, okay, no, I'm not going to call the police. And then we totally called the police. But,
and sometime in the future, you would talk about it on a YouTube show.
And it was fun. Yeah. It was funny. The funny thing is we did the police report, which that's the thing that sucked, really, is that I thought I was going to be going home. But no, now I have to stay here another hour and talk to the police. But the police came, And it was funny. He had this little tiny, one of those little like girly pistols that you. Oh man,
Oh,